Good morning. Right, we've just left home and it's 4 o'clock in the morning and we're off for our island road trip. So we'll let you know how we get on, and look how black it is outside. So a different sort of Cook's Explore adventure awaited us, a road trip to Ireland, but also a journey that would take us through all the countries in the British Isles too.
And we left in search of mountains, beautiful beaches, giants, a ceilidh and of course good Guinness. And as we left the heatwave in our home county of Northamptonshire, our early morning drive took us through heavy rains and through Wales towards the port of Holyhead.
A much needed breakfast stop en route, and Si was once again feeling human despite our 4 a.m. start.
Well, a bit of breakfast, and this is the first of many stops we're going to make on this trip. We're actually in Wales now, and actually this trip takes us through from England into Wales, across into the Republic of Ireland, around to Northern Ireland, then back through Scotland, and then back into England. So we'll do all countries in the British Isles on this trip. Really looking forward to that. But most importantly, Greg's breakfast.
Once in Holyhead, we waited for our turn to board, and once aboard our Stena line ferry, we explored the passenger facilities and grabbed a coffee. It was a 3-hour crossing to Dublin, and as we crossed the Irish Sea, we took the opportunity to get some fresh sea air.
So here we are, we're back at sea, can you believe
Hello.
it? Yeah, it's a 3-hour crossing between Holyhead and Dublin, and in the hour we've already been at sea, we've already covered more nautical miles than we did in the first 3 days that we were sailing on NSC. So there you go. But the sun's come out with a bit of a rainy morning so far, but the sun's out for us as we cross the Irish Sea. It's nice, isn't it?
It is lovely, yeah.
Actually, it's quite surprising what's on board this ship as well. There's a cinema.
There is a cinema, yeah, and there's 2 different rooms, so you can see 2 different types of films. So yeah, they've got one really catering for the children. There's loads, isn't there?
Cafes, restaurant. There's a bar. It's a bit early for Guinness though, eh?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, maybe later. And we're looking forward to our week, just over a week in Ireland, and coming back through Scotland. So stick with us and see all the great things we can find, and let's just hope the weather stays like this.
Yeah, it's a little bit different for Cook's Explore, doing the road trip, but I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be fun.
These 3 hours sailed past, if you'll forgive the pun, and we soon found ourselves disembarking onto the Emerald Isle. The drive to Glendalough from the port was about an hour, through the city, across the River Liffey and down the coast before the Wicklow Mountains came into view. Our route then took us up into the mountains via twisty narrow roads before we arrived at the village of Glendalough.
We checked into the Glendalough Hotel, and check out our separate hotel review video to see what we thought of it. Si has family connections to this area and remembers coming here and the nearby meetings of the waters as a child, and out of our hotel room window was a view of the ancient monastery that draws visitors and tourists here from all over the world.
We were knackered though after that early morning start and all that driving, but we mustered up the energy to leave the hotel and enjoy some cheesy chips by the river as a bit of late lunch. We took a mooch around the stalls and the cellars too, but it felt it was a bit too early for souvenirs at this stage of the holiday. Then we wandered into the remains of the monastery, which was founded by St Kevin as far back as the 6th century and is one of Ireland's oldest monastic sites. And although we didn't know it at this point, the ancient Christian saints would have a big part to play in this adventure. And one of the striking features of old Irish monastic sites are the round towers that featured in many of them, and Glendalough has an incredible example. Like something out of Rapunzel, this is a striking image imprinted firmly in my memory. Used originally as a bell tower, it was also used as a refuge during Viking raids. It is utterly spectacular and adds to the atmosphere of this place.
Go on then, Si. Time to pretend that you're on the TV history documentary and do that walk into the camera thing.
So we made it here to beautiful Glendalough, County Wicklow in Ireland, and this place is famous for these amazing monastic ruins which originate to the 6th century, believe it or not. They're fantastically old, and this place was founded by St Kevin. In fact, there's even a cross dedicated to St Kevin just over there. It's quite striking, and its age is unknown, so we don't know how long that's been here. Behind it is a cathedral building. It's one of the original cathedral buildings. Some of the stones go back over a millennia in that building. It stopped being used as a cathedral in 1214, but I think the most striking feature is the incredible bell tower, as you can see over there. Doesn't it look like something out of Rapunzel? It is absolutely gorgeous, but its use was as a bell tower to summon the monks here to ritual and service and mass and all the things that they used to worship and all of that, but it also served as a refuge for the monks when the Viking raids were taking place in the 9th and 10th centuries. And if you look down the valley over there, you can see how gorgeous this place is. What a setting. And hopefully tomorrow we'll go down the valley and explore what's down there.
Don't think Neil Oliver has too much to worry about, Si, but you can give up your day job and blooming retire early, hey?
We explored the ruins of this wonder from the dawn of Christianity in Ireland, and then took a short walk to the shores of one of the two lakes in Glendalough, and the setting of this place really hit home. It is totally stunning.
But we weren't knackered though, and with our energy levels waning, we returned to the hotel for an evening meal in Casey's bar, and of course a pint of Guinness. And we didn't know it then, but this was to be the creamiest and tastiest Guinness of the entire trip, and it was absolutely delicious.
But even the prospect of more of this fine Guinness couldn't keep us awake, and eventually we crashed in our room and enjoyed some good quality sleep with the sounds of nature singing us to sleep outside our window.
Day 2, and it's funny that when you are exhausted that you wake up really early. We took an early morning walk in the hotel grounds as the breakfast hadn't yet opened, and by 8:15, when it did open, we were ravenous.
And this was a good breakfast, so we loaded up with calories and then set out from the hotel for today's adventure.
So what have you got planned, guys?
Good morning.
Morning!
It's a fabulous morning here in Glendalough, and
It's gorgeous.
it's cool, which is nice. I've got cardies on. It's been 5 weeks since you hurt your knee, didn't you?
It has. It seems to be mending nicely, and I've got some physiotherapy booked, and I'm bandaged up and I'm medicated up, so hopefully some good walking today.
So we're going to put this to a little bit of a test. We're going to see if we can get back to some walking today in the Wicklow Mountains. There's loads of marked trails here to explore. We're going to see how brave we're going to be about climbing a set of steps up a waterfall. See how net is. Play it by ear. But the
I'm
scenery,
not very good at going steps at the best of times, so.
but the scenery is spectacular.
Oh
isn't
yeah, it'll be worth it. So.
Okay, so hotel's been brilliant. Great breakfast this morning.
Oh, it was a brilliant breakfast. A really good breakfast to start the day on.
Any rate, right, it's a morning's walking, and hopefully. And so let's just see what we can find in the Glendalough Valley.
This was a pleasant walk along through a wooded lakeside trail. It was largely flat and on a well-made path, and Nettie's knee felt fine. And after about 10 minutes we emerged at the Glendalough public car park in between the two lakes, with its picturesque visitor centre cottage. It's absolutely lovely.
There was a helpful map showing all the walking trails you can take. One did get our interest, so we decided to follow it. So what's the attraction, Si?
Well, we're coming up to the waterfall, and there are apparently 600 steps to the top. Let's just see how we go.
We saw the steps up. Was this too much to ask of Nettie and her knee?
Well, fate answered that. Phew. Well, you can hear the waterfall, can't you? But it looks like it's blocked off all the steps up, so I don't know what we're going to do. Simon's gone up to have a little look. There must be another way round.
We've just seen a sign that says that this step climb up the waterfall is closed and blocked off. We can only go part way up, so we're going to see how far we can go, and if we can't go very far, we'll come up with a plan B. Certainly looks as though it's closed off. Okay, just spoken to a gentleman who says does this walk every day, and he doesn't know why it's closed.
But we could see part of the falls, and they look lovely.
So some pics taken from a viewing area, and then back down we went, and we noted an alternative route diversion sign that we'd missed on the way up, and this was a route following a more gentle incline rather than steps.
I felt relieved, as this would be easier on my knee.
So we've been better spared the steps. Someone's happy. But there is a little roadway, it seems, for vehicles to get up to the top of the mountain, and we're able to follow that. So it's a bit more gradual and a more gentle incline, but all the way up though. Let's see if we can get to the top and see what the view's like.
We climbed and climbed and paused for a break when we needed it. We kept following the signs and realised we were moving away from the falls. My knee felt fine as we climbed, so we kept walking and unfortunately kept climbing.
At this point we realised we were on a different trail, and one that climbed the mountain beside the loch called the Spink. It got steeper as we climbed, and we slowed right down, struggling somewhat with the climb. Gosh, we don't half need to get fitter.
But the views as we climbed got prettier and prettier, and this was a gorgeous place. Stopping for rest breaks was doubly rewarding.
So we're nearly at the top and we've climbed the Spink, otherwise known as a pointy mountain.
And near the top was a viewpoint.
Well, look at that, we made it, and what a view. We've climbed the Spink apparently.
It's amazing.
And you've done brilliantly with your knee.
It's hard going at times, but there was plenty of places to stop and rest.
Slow and steady, I think, is the way we tackled this one.
Yeah, we're the tortoise, aren't we?
It's certainly not Nick and Jill or the brilliant Dave and Barbara. Homage to you guys. But at least we climbed a mountain, even a small one.
Yeah.
And the views down Glendalough, wow.
Whoa, look at this.
So this path, if we spin it round, come round, goes up a little bit further up there. That's the very top from what we understand. And then it's downhill all the way. And hopefully we'll go down the other side of the loch, which is down there somewhere. Anyway, stick with us and we'll do some more exploring in this beautiful, beautiful Irish valley.
Wow, this was amazing. And we were so pleased with ourselves that we carried on following the trail.
It climbed a little bit more, and more incredible views were revealed, and not for the last time this day we were left completely speechless by the beauty of the Wicklow Mountains. We walked along the edge of the valley, and this was a stunning place, and Nettie's knee was thankfully holding up. Made of tough stuff, our Nettie.
The wind was getting up and the weather began to close in.
So it looks like I've got it a little bit wrong when I said we got to the top of these mountains. Take a look. We've got to go and go up there. And I'm going to break this to Nettie. Wish me luck.
More hills? Really?
But this was a spot, and as we looked down the valley we realised why the upper loch here is known as Guinness Lake, and it does look a bit like a pint of the black stuff, doesn't it?
We began to climb again, and this time my knee began to hurt. Better not be too much further, Si.
There are more steps up here. Oh no.
I just hope Nettie was pleased enough with the views to forgive me for dragging her all the way up here. And we can now see the head of the valley and the path on the other side that would take us back to the hotel. Okay, we got this. But the path then became a step boardwalk and we kept on climbing. Poor Nettie.
It's torture going up here. Real torture.
We took plenty of rest stops. The boardwalk at times went close to the cliff edge, and this wasn't good for Nettie's vertigo either. And it wasn't a place to be in high winds, definitely not.
The steps eased, but we were still climbing. But we were at last nearing the top. We'd soon be heading down, thank goodness. And descent happened, gently at first, as the boardwalk followed the contours of the valley. A herd of red deer and sheep watched us from afar, probably thinking that we were stupid, and they'd be right, of course.
The descent got steeper, and this is when Nettie remembered that the jarring of going down was more painful than going up.
But the views down the valley was worth this effort and suffering. Wonderful.
The boardwalk gave way to rough ground and broken flagstones, and this was now hard walking, and it would be easy to twist an ankle or knee on this stretch. At the head of the valley, the path crossed a bridge over the stream that feeds the lochs, and the views were still amazing.
Then what's that walking up the path towards us?
Uh-oh. Nettie has switched into Steve Backshall mode. She's off to get the perfect photos of this magical stag that was just coming up to say hi.
Seek a deer selfie mode. And I got so close I really had to pinch myself that this magnificent wild animal had chosen to walk up and investigate us. I was in my element and this was truly a magical moment. Deer selfie in the bag, yay!
Well, we just stopped for a bit of lunch. I think I owe Nettie a big apology. I've dragged her up a mountain which was far trickier and higher and more arduous than I thought it was going to be.
We thought we'd done it, didn't we?
Yeah. For those that are new to the channel, you fractured your tibia 5 weeks ago, didn't you, in Mauritius, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Yeah, if you've not watched those vlogs yet, please do. Yeah, quite an eventful holiday, that one, but 5 weeks on, we thought, well, she's feeling a bit better, so we'll go for a walk. Wasn't quite what I had in mind. How you feeling?
It hasn't been too bad, to be fair, but coming down, that's been a bit tricky on the old knee, but it's been an amazing walk. I'm glad we've done it, and I've pushed myself, and you know, we were rewarded with an absolutely amazing this amazing stag, didn't we?
Oh, fantastic.
It's
beautiful
red
stag deer.
stag.
Yeah, red deer.
Yeah,
just coming up, obviously
absolutely.
Curious, just wanted to see what we're about, maybe probably chatting for a bit of food.
Absolutely, yeah, it's not silly. It's probably managed to get food from people down here, even though we're told not to feed any of the deer, but it's absolutely gorgeous, and it came so close.
So, well, anyway, a bit of lunch, a little picnic spot. We're over halfway round, but there's an incredible view from where we are
Absolutely
sitting
amazing.
now. And I'll stop videoing and I'll turn the camera around and record it. And you can see. Anyway, join us and see how we got on going back. At least it's downhill. And here's our view where we're having our lunch. Isn't that gorgeous?
We sat in this beautiful place and ate the snacks we'd brought in our backpacks.
We could have stayed here forever. Such peace, with the gentle burbling of the stream cascading down the slope being the only sounds we could hear. But with the weather again beginning to close in, we decided we needed to descend off the mountain and into the valley below. And this was a tough descent over rocks and over a very roughly made path that snaked down the slope and into the valley.
It was hard walking and my knee really began to hurt again.
Well, we've made it to the bottom. Hopefully it's an easier walk home.
And at the bottom were the remains of an old miners' settlement, and an old lead mine workings could clearly be seen.
The path became easier to walk on and we were very relieved as it once again became more gentle lakeside walking. We continued to take rest stops and admired the views across the loch.
Eventually we arrived back at the head of Guinness Lake, and we wandered onto the beach to take a look back at where we had just walked, and this valley is stunning from every angle.
We followed the path and eventually found ourselves back at St Kevin's Monastery by the hotel, and this was the most welcoming sight.
So we have made it back to the hotel. What an epic walk. It's turned out to be like 9.7 miles or something like that. Ah, ridiculous. All the way up the mountain, all the way down again, over rough terrain. Your knee, how is it?
Actually, it seems to be okay. It's holding up. So it'll be interesting when I take the strap off what it'll be like and what I'll be like tomorrow morning.
The good news is we have special Cooks Explore medicine here because, as we all know, a gelato a day keeps the doctor away.
Yay!
Right, we'll go freshen up after this, find something to eat, and then see if we can enjoy another evening here in wonderful Glendalough.
After showering and freshening up, we decided to find a pub in a nearby village to eat in, so we got in the car and drove further up into the mountains through the stunning Wicklow Gap and down into the village of
Holywood. We made it! Fame at last! And who knew that YouTube would take us all the way to Holywood?
Completely randomly, we've just driven to a place called Holywood, and there's a Hollywood sign on the hill as well. Wow, what a crazy place. Okay, it's not the actual movie Hollywood, but it was way more beautiful, and it had a super little pub at its heart called the Hollywood Inn. Really quaint inside, and boy, that food smells nice. But first, there were some important matters to attend to.
So, as is tradition, when we're away, it's beer review time. So, Nettie, what you got?
This is Wicklow Wolf Elevation Pale Ale.
All right, that's different.
Yeah, and I've even got it written on here on the glass.
It's local, it's County Wicklow.
So
All right, give it a taste test. First time tasting.
Let's try it. That's good. Very clean.
Ooh.
Very clean. Quite refreshing. Not too hoppy.
Not too hoppy.
No, not too hoppy.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's a really good one. I would give that. I like that one. I would give it about a 4.5.
4.5.
Yeah.
And it's a lot lighter than Guinness as well.
A lot lighter. Beer washed down with some of the tastiest fish and chips we've ever had too. This was just what we needed after our epic hike, and after we headed back to Glendalough, and all the visitors had now left the ruins, so Si popped the drone up to grab a couple of shots. It is such a beautiful place.
Then, feeling very weary, we turned in for the evening, knowing that the following day we were making the long drive right across Ireland and visiting County Mayo, where we knew that breathtaking coastlines and spectacular mountains awaited us. But what did we think of Glendalough?
So we've had 2 great nights here at the Glendalough Hotel. What did you think of Glendalough?
I thought it was absolutely amazing. It was really well worth the walk up, even though it was a bit punishing at times. And the Guinness Lake was absolutely stunning. Yeah, really, really good. I really enjoyed the day.
It's a pretty place, and the monastic ruins are gorgeous. The whole setting is fabulous. When I came here as a child, when my gran used to live nearby here, and I can remember I haven't been here since 1979, so it's a bit of a trip down memory lane for me. But this is a road trip, so 2 nights and we move on, and that's how this week generally rolls. And we're heading across Ireland today. We're heading to the west coast. We're heading to County Mayo, and a town called Westport, and I've never been there before, so I wonder what's there. Stick with us and find out.
We'd had an amazing 2 days in beautiful Glendalough, but day 3 saw us travel right across Ireland to Westport in County Mayo. This was going to be another 4-hour drive, even if the traffic was kind, and we decided we wanted to see some of the beautiful countryside on the way. We travelled again over the Wicklow Gap and followed twisty countryside roads westwards. A few wrong turns, some mild expletives, and we realised this was going to be a long day in the car. So we decided to break up the journey and headed into the town of Kildare. Traffic in the town was very busy, and we realised we had arrived on Derby Day. Still, we were able to park up next to the incredible cathedral, and this seemed an opportunity too good to miss.
The cathedral in Kildare is dedicated to St Bridget, and St Bridget is an important early Christian saint in Ireland's journey from its pagan origins to Christianity, and the name Bridget also refers to a pagan goddess associated with the very origins of the Irish nation. St Bridget herself was a nun and a daughter of a local chieftain, but legend has it she was accidentally ordained a bishop and used her newfound title and power to found a monastery for both men and women here in Kildare. She is also famed for converting a pagan chieftain as he lay dying and fashioning a cross out of rushes from the floor to help him understand the concepts of Christianity. We wandered inside the cathedral, which has been restored but is largely still based around the cathedral built by the Normans in the early 13th century to replace the earlier monastic buildings. It is just stunning inside, and there are stories hidden in the many carvings and stained glass too.
And outside in the grounds is a 32-metre high round tower, and this is climbable with an entrance fee of €5 payable. However, opening times do appear to be limited, and it seems we had missed our chance to do just this. You're impressed with this place, aren't you, Si?
So we've just had a bit of a pit stop on our journey to Westport. We've stopped at Kildare, and the town is bustling, but we didn't realise it was Irish Derby Day when we were going to stop here. But one of the other reasons to stop here was that I wanted to go in this place here, St Bridget's Cathedral. Now, there is a family connection there, mum's name, all that kind of stuff, but it's a phenomenal old ancient cathedral, some brilliant relics inside, some beautiful stained glass, and it's got an atmosphere. Really pleased we've stopped here, stretched the legs, but also to take in somewhere as awe-inspiring as this. So we're going to go and have a little mooch around the town, grab a coffee and a cake, and then head on to Westport.
We then wandered into town, and it was a pretty place that was bustling with racegoers. We found the statue to St Bridget in the town square, which is also a memorial to a terrible massacre of surrendering local soldiers in 1798, during one of the uprisings against British rule.
This is a place steeped in Irish history, and we were glad we had stopped here. But we needed to move on, so we grabbed some drinks and snacks from the local Tesco, and we got back in the car, continuing our journey across Ireland.
This journey was a mixture of twisty lanes, motorways and trunk roads. It took longer than we thought. Traffic congestion was the main reason, and nobody it seemed was in any kind of a hurry. And that was kind of nice.
As we entered County Mayo, mountains emerged on the horizon, including the imposing Croagh Patrick.
We rolled into the pretty town of Westport, and this was to be our base for the next 2 days. It looked really quaint, and we drove around looking for our hotel, the Westport Woods Hotel and Spa, and it was a bit out of town as it happened, but we arrived late in the afternoon and we went to check in. However, our room wasn't ready despite it being after 4 p.m, so we decided to take a wander.
Hi, well look, we've made it to wonderful Westport at last, and it looks a really pretty place. Not been here before, looks tremendous, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it's gorgeous, and I'm getting quite excited because as we went through, it looks like loads of bars with live music, and I'm really looking forward to that. So we'll go and look for something tonight.
And the town's overlooked by Croagh Patrick, the big mountain. We had originally planned that we would walk that, but I don't think we're quite fit enough or well enough to do that.
No.
Just yet, despite our antics the other day, 380 metres of ascent, but Croagh Patrick's more than double that. So
oh God, you can just see it as we're coming down. You can actually see it looming, can't you?
it was quite hard to get accommodation. We ended up in the Westport Wood Hall Spa, and that looks quite posh. It was also quite expensive. It's nearly 4 o'clock. We got here, the room wasn't ready, so we're ending up down at the harbour to get a bit of a coffee and a cake, so stick with us.
We took the 10-minute walk down to Westport Harbour, and this quayside area was a delight. It was really pretty, and there was an array of shops, cafes and bars for visitors to enjoy, so we found one, sat down and enjoyed a Guinness.
An hour later, we returned to the hotel and our room was at last ready for us. We freshened up and then took the 20-minute walk into Westport town centre, and this was a really pretty place filled with visitors enjoying the many shops, bars and restaurants. We could tell we were going to enjoy our time in Westport, but where should we eat? We had a hankering for Asian food, and that decided things, and we settled down in the appropriately named Yum Yum Asian restaurant.
This was a good meal, but it needed washing down with some more Irish stout. So we went in search of a traditional Irish pub, and the rowdy sounds of music and dancing lured us into the Porterhouse Bar, where we tucked into some Murphys as a change from Guinness. And this place was a hoot, as the music played and all present participated in singing, dancing and cheering everyone along. Wow, this was exactly what we wanted.
A good crack in an Irish pub, brilliant, and we drank more and sang till our voices were hoarse. And this was exactly what we needed and exactly what we wanted from this holiday. And out on the streets, the party was well underway.
Tiredness eventually sent us back to the hotel, but on our way back we reflected on our first night in Westport.
Well, we've had a brilliant evening, haven't we?
Oh, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
We had a nice Chinese meal, didn't we?
We did, yeah. We went into this place called Yum Yum. Original name, wasn't it? Food was good though, wasn't it?
It was really tasty. I enjoyed mine.
Yeah, that sweet and sour. I had some sort of like honey chili chicken thing.
I tried sake for the first time as well.
Yeah, you like that, didn't you?
Yeah, that was nice.
And then Westport is a lively place.
It is. There's lots of like hen do's and stag do's going on. We saw a hen do carrying a blow up man just now.
I mean, it's got atmosphere. It's got soul. They know how to party. We went into the Porterhouse, which is one of the music bars.
That was amazing. That was like a real vibe in there, wasn't it?
Really was good. And the place was absolutely buzzing, I think so to say. Anyway, another great day here in wonderful Ireland. And tomorrow we're going to explore some more of Westport and the surrounding area, so stick with us.
As we walked back, we could see Croagh Patrick looming in the distance. The light was fading and we began to plan what we would do tomorrow.
And as we finally got off to sleep, we did have the semblance of a plan.
So what did you plan then, guys?
Good morning.
Morning.
Wow, we had a good night's sleep last night, didn't we?
It was amazing. I slept like a baby.
Really comfy bed, and it's cool as well. It's a heat wave back at home. 34 degrees back at home. It's about 17 here, 15 to 17 I'd say.
Yeah.
And there's a few spots of rain as well, so a bit cooler but easier sleeping. Today we were going to climb Croagh Patrick, but definitely that's off. Definitely off today.
Definitely off,
Definitely
Not just because of me, it's you as well.
Neither of us are in great shape to do that. So
no, we're not fit. We need to get fit again, don't we?
Westport is on the Wild Atlantic Way, or Ireland's famous sort of like coastal route, and this is supposed to be one of the most dramatic areas. So we're going to do a bit of that and explore some of the coastline and the beautiful scenery. There's mountain passes.
Looking forward to going down on the beach.
Oh yeah, there's a few good beaches here as well apparently. So it is a day back in the car, but just exploring the area and just seeing how beautiful County Mayo actually is. Looking forward to it?
I'm looking forward to it, definitely.
All right, stay tuned.
So we set off into the remote wilds of County Mayo in search of its famed coastline, and our first stop was Bartra Beach, right in the shadow of Croagh Patrick.
We parked up and walked out onto the beach, which was a mixture of stones and sands, but backed by dunes. This was a lovely walk, and the famous mountain provided a stunning backdrop. So I kept looking at it, wishing we could walk the famous pilgrim track up its edge to St. Patrick's Chapel at its summit. It would be incredible to do this, but neither of us were in good enough shape to make that climb.
It is on my bucket list though, and this incredible mountain is steeped in myths and legend, including being the location where St. Patrick was said to have banished the snakes from Ireland. But on this day, I just have to admire it from its bottom and fly my drone around on the beach, which was, to be fair, very enjoyable. But I made a promise to myself that a fitter version of me would come back and make the climb. So today we decided that we will just stroll up and down this lovely beach instead.
Have you enjoyed your beach walk, Natty?
Yeah, it's really great. It's such beautiful scenery. And I saw some little birds there catching flies, and they're really interesting to video.
I saw you sort of videoing something in the dunes, and they were just like nesting in the dunes, the birds, were they?
Yeah, they're nesting in the dunes, and they're coming out and they're catching all the little flies and things like that for their dinner. So I'm going to go back and look at the thing and see what birds they were.
Yeah, there's a signboard back there, so we can have a look and see what birds they were, yeah. And what a setting, it's beautiful, with the mountain behind us, wonderful, isn't it?
Absolutely gorgeous.
Anyway, Let's go back.
Then back in the car, and we followed the coast as best as we could, and we could see Clare Island in the distance.
We headed through Loughareema and the roads became narrower and single track. The mountains loomed to our left and sandy bays and coves revealed themselves to our right. Such a stunning drive.
We took a turn down a narrow track to a beach called Silver Strand. There was a car park there, so we left the car and took a walk out onto the beach.
Right, we've had an absolutely amazing drive over the top. It's absolutely gorgeous scenery and we're now here at a place called Silver Strand.
It's quite a beach, isn't it?
It is absolutely amazing.
It's a bit windy. It's not really beach weather, is it?
No, not really. And I don't think it's going to be drone weather either, is it?
Yeah, well, we'll have a go. We'll see what we can do.
We'll see. It might get blown away, but...
Really gorgeous expanse of golden sand.
Absolutely
Yeah, we're just
gorgeous.
coming down a lane now to the beach. It looks incredible. And we're in the middle of nowhere.
We had to turn off because otherwise we were going to go straight over somewhere else, weren't we? Was it to the Lost Valley?
Which looks really interesting, actually, as a tourist attraction. I think you've got to book that tickets in advance. So we didn't know that. I just had a look online and looks really interesting. It's a sort of a dive into the tragedy that was the Irish famine, and it seems like a very interactive sort of immersion into that particular period in history. But maybe that's for next time when we come here. Anyway, let's go and explore this wonderful beach.
We arrived at the beach only to be confronted with a river. But how do we get on the beach? Look, big expanse of water. Oh.
So one immediate challenge with Silver Strand is getting on the beach, because you've got to cross the river here to get onto the beach. And it's not obvious that you can do that without getting very wet feet. So we're going to try and have a look around to see if there is a crossing somewhere. If not, this could be a little bit of a disappointment.
Maybe that's what you did at one stage.
This does look like a little bit of a crossing, but it's all like washed away now. That's a shame. So it really doesn't look like there's anywhere to cross without having to go wade in, and I'm not sure up for that. So there are other beaches around here, so maybe we go and find one of those.
We went back to the car and continued down the narrow lanes until another beach and car park came into view.
Never to be put off, we've driven about 2 miles further down the coast and found another Silver Strand beach.
Yeah.
And this time it looks like you can get on it because there's even cars driving on it. So and a nice big car park. Spin it around, 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 spin it around. And a nice big sandy beach there, which we're going to go and explore now.
We crossed the bridge across the stream and spilled out into the soft white sands, and they were so soft, and this beach had such a beautiful backdrop, and it was a big wide open expanse of beach too.
We walked out onto the sands towards the sea and Si decided he'd use the drone to get a 360-degree view of where we were. It was just a few sheep and a couple of brave swimmers here. Peace and tranquility provided. Just need sunshine.
We walked together hand in hand with the drone following us when Nettie does seem to keep losing hats for some reason, and she's the one with hair.
And this was a wonderful place and so worth the drive. We walked these sands for longer than we expected to, but enjoyed every moment. And back in the car, Si was a ray of sunshine, even if the clouds over the mountains prevented the actual sun from shining on us.
We continued this driving adventure down through mountain roads, occasionally stopping for photos. Nettie was trying to perfect her technique for capturing footage from the car as we were driving along, and she was getting rather good at it.
And we headed into one of the most stunning valleys. This was Duloch Valley.
We pulled in at a memorial and took in our surroundings, and it was here that we learned of the tragedy that took place in this incredibly beautiful setting. Sadly, at least 7 starving locals perished of starvation when they were forced to march through this valley by poor law union officials during the Irish famine. They were marched suffering from extreme hunger so they could be assessed as to whether they qualified for aid and emergency food rations. It's a truly shocking example of how the local population were treated during this terrible period in Ireland's history.
We set off down into the valley. It's a brooding and thought-provoking place, but its beauty takes a lot of beating.
The road then followed the shores of the loch, and there were a few people here, but not many. And as we drove, we felt lucky that we had discovered this magnificent valley and mountain pass.
We occasionally stopped to let the sheep check us out, but we followed the road out of the valley and into the field. Yes, that's right, Ireland has an actual field. Kildare Fiord, and you can take a boat trip up the fiord to where it meets the sea. And that's what Si had planned. We parked up and bought some tickets at €27 each and boarded the catamaran that would take us on an adventure up the fiord. We grabbed a table and had a coffee and cake, and then the boat set sail.
This was a narrated excursion with the crew providing a commentary on the various aspects of the fjord. This included the local geology that means that it is a fjord, supposedly Ireland's only fjord. We also learned about the history of the area, as well as myths and legends associated with the fjord, as well as the working lives of the people who live on the fjord. The boat also featured a scale model of the fjord and provided both indoor and outdoor seating, all with great viewing of the spectacular scenery.
And this was indeed spectacular scenery, and as we approached the mouth of the fiord we noticed more fisheries and also learned of a pod of dolphins that would occasionally swim alongside the boat. Sadly, not today though.
This was a 90-minute trip up to the mouth of fjord and back again. The sunshine did occasionally poke its head out, but this was a serene 90 minutes doing what we love, just sitting and watching the beautiful scenery just pass us by. It's not as dramatic as Norway, Tierra del Fuego or Alaska, but it's still a beautiful place, and this is a trip we'd recommend to anyone if you're in the area.
We disembarked and got back in the car.
Well, that was a lovely way to spend the afternoon, wasn't it?
It was, it really was.
We love a good boat trip, don't we? And who knew that Ireland had its own fjord? It's practically the only one.
Well, I didn't even know that, did you?
No.
No.
Kildare Fjord, a lovely boat trip up the fjord and back down, an hour and a half, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they told us lots of interesting information, loads of folklore and things like that, didn't they?
Yeah, it's one of these sort of like commentary sort of cruisings, sort of sailing up the fjord and back down. It was really nice though, wasn't it? The sun even came out.
It did. It did. It's now raining now though. It's got a little bit nippy now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, it's gone a bit cold and wet again. But hey, we're in Ireland.
Yeah.
so that was nice. So loads of exciting things done today. Beaches, lovely drive down Duloch, a nice boat trip up the fjord. It's running out of time though, aren't we? So we are now. Yeah. So we're gonna go into the local town there. Yeah, there's a local town just down the road here at the head of the fjord.
Look.
See if there's anything open there. It is Sunday, so there might not be.
No. So we're gonna have a little look and then pootle on back home. Well, not home.
Back to Westport.
Back to our little home.
Yeah, our temporary home.
Yes.
Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the trip up the fjord like we did.
Yay!
The boat set off again with its new contingent of passengers, and we drove the 2 miles down into the nearby town of Linon.
It was Sunday and not too much was open, but we did get an ice cream and we sat on the wall overlooking the head of the fiord.
And after, we drove back to Westport and our hotel. Then after freshening up, we walked back into town looking for a bite to eat.
And pizza was today's choice in the Woodfire restaurant. We had pizza to share with garlic fries and 2 drinks.
Then into another fabulous Westport pub. JJ O'Malley's was tonight's pub of choice, and it was the sound of fabulous live music that lured us in again.
And this was great. Live music, Irish dancing and plenty of great Guinness. And plenty more great Guinness. Oh well, when in Ireland.
This really was a great night and we didn't want it to end, but eventually we had to wander back to our hotel knowing that we hadn't spent enough time in wonderful Westport. It really is a superb place and we knew we needed to come back here again sometime.
In the morning we were moving on again and we reflected on these 2 fabulous days in County Mayo.
Good morning.
Morning.
So our 2 days here in Westport are done and we're moving on again. It's 2 days and move. That's how this holiday rolls. Hotel was good, wasn't it? The Westport Woods Hotel was all right.
It is a good hotel. Really good breakfast. Comfy bed. Yeah, sleep like babies.
Yeah.
So yeah, brilliant.
Exactly. And whilst there's a heat wave back at home in England, it's about 17 and raining here. But
that's nice though because we can sleep properly.
Yeah, it has been nice. So we're heading north. We're going further up into Donegal through Sligo into Donegal, and we'll end today in Northern Ireland. So our sort of another country on this road trip, and we're going to have a couple of days in Derry and that area there. So we've never been before, so wonder what it's going to bring us.
Yeah, keep watching and you'll find out.
Cheers now.
Westport had provided the Irish experience we wanted from this holiday. Stunning scenery and lively bars for the singing and dancing, but today on day 5 of this trip we were heading north and into Northern Ireland.
We set out in the rain after breakfast, and this was a slow and difficult trudge in poor weather.
We passed through Sligo and into Donegal, but the rain and the clouds masked the natural beauty of these places for a lot of the journey, but we did get glimpses of what these counties had to offer.
We were heading towards Derry, or Londonderry if that's how you refer to it, and we approached the border between the Republic and Northern Ireland. Si turned off the main road down some narrow lanes that climbed a steep hill. We parked up at the top of the hill. So where's he taking us now? Bet it's about history again. No matter how hard he tries, he'll never have hair like Neil Oliver. Give up on that, Si.
So jokes about my shiny head aside, this was a place I had always wanted to visit. The Green and the Violet is one of the finest examples of a ring fort or dun that you can find anywhere. And here we were all ready to explore it and enjoy the incredible views from the hilltop. Alright, the rainy, misty views from the hilltop.
And we walked up to this amazing stone fort that you can walk right inside, and were amazed on how accessible it was, and climbed the walls to take in the views.
Here we are at my token bit of archaeology for the week, and we're nearly at Derry. It's still chucking it down. We're at a place, Griannan Uf Aliuk, I think, which is a dun built in the sort of the 7th, 8th centuries on a site of an old ancient hill fort here. And it was a fortification of one of the old Ulster kings, and it's in immaculate condition. It's like a castle before castles were kind of built here, and it's tremendous. It's a complete sort of ring fort. It is actually built on the site of an ancient hill fort, and you can still see the ramparts out there. You know, and being from Dorset, originally home of the hill fort, this is like my heaven here. And look at the views across the surrounding countryside. Absolutely stunning. And it's in immaculate condition. According to the storyboard on the entrance in, it has been partly restored, but it is immaculate. What a place, what a spot, what a setting, loving it.
The 5-metre high walls themselves are hollow too, and this was some place, and it is simply in amazing condition, and it stirs up thoughts of how these lands were ruled and fought over for millennia before any of the recent conflicts. And this place is even referred to in the ancient Irish myths and legends, believe it or not.
And as a bonus, in the shadow of the fort is an ancient freshwater spring dedicated to St. Patrick. Si was in his element and grinning like the Cheshire Cat himself. Come on, Si, it's nice here, but very soggy.
Back in the car, we drove across the border into Northern Ireland, and everything around us began to look just that little bit more familiar and less expensive also.
We headed into the city of Derry and made straight for our hotel. Si was tired from all the driving and needed a rest, so in the afternoon we did just that. I awoke the Kraken late in the afternoon and we needed a bite to eat.
Well,
Evening.
here we are, in Derry. Although this afternoon, I'm that tired after all the driving, I hit the bed and went and grabbed quite a long doze this afternoon, obviously needed it. But it's still raining, it hasn't brightened up while I've been asleep. But instead of going out and partying like crazy people in Derry this afternoon, I've had 40 weeks instead. But we are going to catch up with my cousin who lives near here and is kindly going to join us for a meal. It'll be nice to catch up.
I'm looking forward to that. That'll be nice. Nice glass of wine tonight, I think.
Nice glass of wine and some good quality family time.
That's it.
So we won't show you too much of that. We're just going to catch up on family stuff. So join us tomorrow and just see if we actually do manage to explore Derry.
And actually, if we can get out tonight without getting too wet.
Yeah, I mean, the weather's supposed to be better tomorrow, so it is still lashing down out there. Anyway, stay tuned.
So we'd arranged to meet my family for a nice meal, and we freshened up and cabbed it down to Ebrington Square, where we were meeting the family in a nice little restaurant called Stitch and Weave. The wine flowed and the conversation was stimulating, and this was quality time with family that we hadn't seen in too long, and it was so good to see them and learn about their lives here in this wonderful city.
We took a taxi back after, and then even more sleep. Night. Morning.
Good morning. How you doing? All right, so we had a lovely meal last night, didn't we?
It was delicious.
So sew and stitch, or stitch and weave, or
No, Stitch and Weave.
Stitch and Weave.
Yeah.
Okay. It was really nice, and they don't normally open on a Monday apparently, but there was graduations going on, and the restaurant was full of people celebrating, which was really had a really nice atmosphere, wasn't it?
It did, yeah. There was people with cakes and all sorts, all dressed up to the nines.
And importantly, we caught up with my cousin Sarah, and
her family.
And her family. Lovely to catch up. Really lovely evening. Great family time. Putting the world to rights.
Yeah.
So today we're in Derry, and my kind cousin has been an absolute trooper and a superstar, has offered to take us on a bit of a mystery tour today.
Yay, on the mystery tour.
Got no idea what this involves, but she lives here, so she's going to take us into the surrounding area, I think is the plan.
Yeah, she's going to take us out for breakfast first, isn't she?
I don't know, did we wait until sleep? I hope so, because we've not had any breakfast.
No.
Yeah, so I think rather than the city itself, we're going to be dropped back in the city tonight so that we can see some of the city centre area and the walls and all the things in the city.
Yeah.
I think she's going to take us to the surrounding area and show us some of the sights of the area. And she lives here, so hopefully we're in the hands of a trusted local. Anyway, stay tuned and see what we get to see. And the good news is I don't have to drive at all today.
No, it's giving you a nice sort of well-earned break, really, isn't it?
A lot of driving. At any rate, right, stay tuned.
Cousin Sarah collected us from the hotel bright and early, and we crossed the River Foyle and headed back across the border into the Republic, and we followed the coast road north to the village of Buncrana. We didn't know what to expect, but we knew we were in safe hands.
Sarah parked us up overlooking Lough Swilly. The sun was shining on us, and Sarah promised a nice walk in this stunning setting before a spot of breakfast.
And here we learned about the role of this place in the life of the great slavery abolitionist John Newton, who was inspired to write the hymn Amazing Grace after his ship was sheltered here in the loch during a terrible storm.
We followed the path into the estuary of the River Crane and into Swan Park. The views were spectacular, both across the loch but also of Castle Bridge, which dates from 1718. We walked into the park and this was a serene setting, and the sounds of the flowing river were the perfect soundtrack.
So the first spot that my cousin Sarah's taken us to is this place called Buncrana and the Swan Valley, and look how gorgeous this is. And we'd never know this was here, but what a walk this is. A beautiful river valley, some fantastic history. There's a castle over there as well. Absolutely stunning. I think this is going to be a brilliant day, and the sun's in the sky.
The paths were well made and easy to follow, and there were plenty of viewpoints from which to admire the flowing river, and we took advantage of them all. Wonderful.
Wildlife in the park was abundant, and the flowers were in bloom, and this was such a beautiful place. We walked a loop through the park, up one side of the river and back down the other.
And we learned of Henry Percival Swan, whom the park is named after, and he was a prominent local businessman and philanthropist. We also posed for pics of us all. Great family snaps, priceless.
This park was a natural oasis and such a pleasure to visit.
I also got to have a bit of fun with the drone too, but we needed to move on. But not before we found the 14th century keep, of course, but sadly you can't explore inside this ruin, but it's still quite a find.
But not as an amazing find as Tank and Skinny's, a brilliant cafe on the shores of Lough Swilly with seating directly overlooking this breathtaking view.
We settled in and enjoyed a healthy and late breakfast for a change. Is it that part of the holiday already?
Afterwards we took a walk on the adjoining beach whilst we waited for the ferry to Rathmullen. This was a beautiful stroll.
Ferries run every 80 minutes in the summer, so we had time to enjoy this spot and soak up some sunshine too. We then got back in Sarah's car and boarded the Lough Swilly ferry.
More pickies whilst aboard, and we sat on the deck and soaked up yet more sunshine as we crossed the loch. It was clouding over inland, but luckily we were planning to follow the coast north.
So we drove off the ferry and continued following the coast road north. This was spectacular coastline with views across the mouth of the loch. The Knockalla Coast Road we were following was actually only built in the 1960s and was vital to serving the communities on this peninsula. It's quite a feat of engineering and opens up some spectacular views, and cousin Sarah kindly stopped at many viewpoints so that we could grab those views and pictures.
The road took us into the village of Port Salam, and we left the car and walked to its pretty beach and harbour. These seas were a turquoise blue and shallow and backed by golden sands. What a spot, and this could be somewhere in the Mediterranean, except there were so few people around. Magical.
We grabbed a drink in the village pub before driving back to Rathmullen, and back at the ferry we parked up and waited for the next crossing. With fish and chips, yum 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 yum. Thanks Sarah, you're the best cousin ever. We crossed back across the loch to Buncrana and Sarah dropped us back at the hotel.
This had been a brilliant day exploring and catching up some more. We promised not to leave it so long before we catch up again.
Back in Londonderry we said goodbye and we went into the city centre to do some more exploring. We crossed the Peace Bridge from Ebrington Fort into the city, and this gave us amazing views across the River Foyle.
In the city centre we knew we didn't have too much time to explore. It was after 7 p.m, but we reckon we had enough daylight left to walk the historic city walls, and Si would be able to add a video to his Walking the Walls series.
Derry's walls are some of the most intact defensive walls in the British Isles and date from the 17th century. They are immaculate and complete with 7 city gates and 24 restored cannons on the battlements. We climbed via Magazine Gate and began our clockwise circuit. The walls provide visitors with plentiful signboards explaining what you can see as you navigate your way around, and there are some splendid views across the sites as you progress. As we passed over Newgate Bastion, we heard the sounds of a marching band, and we realised that this day was also the start of marching season. This tradition is both a source of pride and contention in the community, but having only seen these events on news bulletins previously, it was interesting to see them in person, and we continued our walk after the band had passed and enjoyed more of the highlights of the wonderful city walls.
St Columb's Cathedral is beautiful, and the views across the bogside and the incredible murals are especially thought-provoking. We can never truly understand what this community has been through, but it was so reassuring to see the incredible efforts made by all to move on and build a better life and beautiful city together. The Walls Walk sadly came to an end.
We are back where we started, at Magazine Gate, and we've done a complete circuit of Derry's fabulous city walls.
There was one piece of street art that we did especially want to see.
Not that one, Si.
Hey, Teenage Kicks is still arguably the best song from the punk era, just saying.
No, we had to see the mural depicting the brilliant TV show Derry Girls, and that thankfully was close to our exit from the walls.
Biggies taken and then a Guinness in the Blackbird pub, which was named in the UK's best pubs list. It was rather good also. And after heading back to the hotel, we stumbled upon the Peace Flame, symbolising the commitments made by all communities to living peacefully together, a continuous flame symbolising everlasting peace.
We walked back across Peace Bridge and headed back to our hotel, knowing we were leaving this fabulous city in the morning. Give us your thoughts, guys.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, so that's our 2 nights here in Derry, Londonderry done. Lovely city, isn't it?
Oh, I've had a great time. I love looking at all the street art and everything. It was brilliant.
It's clearly got a really vibrant culture here. They make a big thing about the Derry Girls thing, which is really great because it was a funky series.
Yeah.
But the surrounding area, Sarah took us out yesterday, and
Oh, it's gorgeous.
absolutely. I mean, I think that's the danger. You could just focus on the city, couldn't you? And
Yeah.
then miss all the other stuff that's in the surrounding area.
Well, we went over on the ferry.
Yeah,
Didn't
the Rathmullen Ferry,
That's
the
it,
Buncarrow
yeah.
Rathmullen Ferry. That was gorgeous, wasn't it? Going across Loch Swilly and
We
then
went right up and looking across, didn't we?
up to Port Salon with a
Yeah.
beautiful little cove and bay there, and really, really nice. And we were lucky we had the weather, and everybody said that, didn't they? Oh, you've had the weather.
Yeah.
All the taxi drivers and
That's
everything.
it, yeah.
You know, oh, you've had the weather. But I mean, it lashed it down on the first day we got here, didn't it? But
It did, yeah.
But you know, it's a funky city. Really liked it. Definitely a place we'll come back to. I
Don't
think.
forget, we went to Swan Park, didn't we?
Oh, that was nice. Wasn't
yeah,
it?
we went there first, didn't we?
Yeah.
That was absolutely gorgeous.
Really nice, really enjoyed it, and obviously we were spoilt rotten by my cousin, which really
Oh, we
helped.
were,
But,
yeah.
you know, it's a really quality family time.
Thanks, Sarah.
So we are moving on our road trip. So it's 2 nights a move, and then we're going down to Coleraine, and we're going to try and do the stuff on the Causeway Coast, which includes
The Giant Causeway.
So see how we get on today. The sun is still out, so
Yeah.
hopefully we will get there before the clouds come over.
Today was the day that Nettie would tick something off her bucket list, and spoiler alert, this was the Giant's Causeway, and she absolutely loved it.
Look, I'm actually here at the Giant's Causeway. Never thought I'd actually get here. Wow, look. It's absolutely awesome, isn't it? Look. Go round, go round. Go round. Look, 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 look. Look.
We set out early from Derry on the 1-hour journey to the Causeway Coast. We wanted to get there early to beat the crowds, get a parking space, and also enjoy this special place in the sunshine whilst it lasted.
A breakfast stop at McDonald's in Coleraine was in order to onboard some calories. We wanted to do both the Giant's Causeway and the Carrick-a-Rede rope bridge this day, and we were advised that it's best to book the rope bridge online, as these are timed tickets with limited numbers available daily. So whilst munching, we paid the £17 each online for tickets for the rope bridge.
We then set off again, and we drove on through Bushmills and onto the Causeway Coast Road. Pulled into one of the car parks, the one up the road from the visitor centre. It was just after 9 a.m. and there were spaces and a waiting attendant to charge you the £15 to park there.
Well, we're here.
Hello.
This is something you've been looking forward to for a while, isn't it?
I have. It's been on my bucket list for many years, so I'm really looking forward to it.
So we have got down here early. The sun is still in the sky. Look at that, look. Wow. And it seems fairly quiet. We've just paid 15 quid to get into the car park. And there's a little attendant there with a little card payment machine, happy to take your money from you. And so it's now just a walk down to the causeway. So I'm not sure what to expect, but we're looking forward to it.
It says there's a 2 hour, we've got a 2 hour gap or something, haven't we, in the car park?
A 2 hour parking limit. So they don't want you here any more than 2 hours, is what it says. But anyway, very excited because we've finally got to the Giant Causeway.
We walk the path towards the visitor centre, but you don't have to go through this and can follow the blue or red walking trails to the causeway. The blue follows the roadway down an incline to the causeway, whereas the red trail follows the cliff top and descends some steps.
We decided to take the quicker and shorter blue trail down to the causeway and follow the red trail back afterwards. As we walked downwards to the shoreline, the beauty of this rugged coast blew us away, and it is just stunning, and the rocks on the shore began to give hints of what was ahead.
It was a 10 to 15 minute walk on the blue trail, and shuttle buses ferrying passengers from the visitor centre whizzed past us. And eventually the causeway came into view, and wow!
A National Trust attendant in a white van was evidently monitoring people's behaviour on the causeway. They were there to protect it from damage and to prevent the flying of drones.
We scrambled out onto the causeway, and the polygonal basalt columns beneath our feet were some sight. This really is a wonder of nature, and our early start meant not too many people out on the causeway. You loving this place then, Neddy?
I'm out on the black rocks now, look at them. Wow, they're absolutely spectacular. Really awesome, this.
This was wonderful, and we took loads of selfies and explored and walked out to where the causeway enters the sea.
Looking back towards the shore, the view to our left showed further basalt columns in the cliff, which are known as the organ pipes, and we noted that you can walk round to view these and the amphitheatre in the next bay along the coast.
But we wanted to soak this place up, and the sun was shining on us.
We made it!
And verdict?
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome.
This was on your bucket list, wasn't it?
It was on my bucket list, and it's absolutely jaw-dropping.
I mean, the scenery and the setting is absolutely stunning, and we've been blessed with the weather, we know, but
So lucky.
it would have been absolutely stunning in a howling gale, I reckon. It's beautiful.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, so we walked down on the blue trail, which is the quickest way down here, but apparently the red trail has got other things to see. So as we head back to the car park, we'll follow the other red trails, show you a bit more of what there is to see here at the Giant's Causeway.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, rain is coming.
Ah!
And we need it to stay dry for the rest of the day because we've got other exciting things planned. Anyway, stay tuned.
See you later.
More and more visitors arrived, and it began to get busy, so we scrambled back across the causeway and then down onto the pathway. We walked around the bay towards the organ pipes, and we slowly climbed up the cliff path, which yielded even more spectacular views across the causeway.
We approached the impressive organ pipes and posed for a photo, and these basalt columns in the cliff face are huge. This place was teeming with wild birds, and this was a good vantage point to watch them fish and return to their nesting sites in the cliffs.
We continued to climb the cliff path so we could reach the viewpoint for the amphitheatre. As we rounded the headland, we reached a gate, and this had been opened to permit visitors to a viewpoint, and the view of this natural amphitheatre in the cliffs was incredible. What a spot, just beautiful. Selfies taken, we doubled back and began to climb the shepherd steps to the top of the cliff. This was a steep climb, and we wondered how Nettie's knee would hold up. Luckily, there were plenty of landings to rest, and we took advantage of these, each providing another amazing view.
We climbed slowly, and at the top the path gently descended down to the car park, and the toilets here were a welcome pit stop. And that was that. Giant's Causeway done, and it deserves the hype it gets. We both absolutely loved it there. What a place.
So we had some time to kill before we could access the Carrick-a-Rede rope bridge on our time ticket. So we stopped off at White Park Bay as we drove further along the Causeway Coast towards Carrick-a-Rede.
And this looked an incredible beach, a vast expanse of golden sand in the sunshine. That's too good to miss. So we walked down the gently sloping cliff path and into the dunes, which were filled with flowers and insects.
This was a wonderful walk down through the dunes, and this beach was another amazing spot on the Northern Ireland coast, and it couldn't have been more different to the Giant Causeway. White Park Bay features some of the most spectacular golden sands, and on this fine sunny day we nearly had the place all to ourselves, with just a few others deciding to enjoy time on this incredible beach.
So here we are at White Park Bay. We're just having a little stop here before we head down to the Carrick-a-Rede rope bridge, which we've had to book tickets for. So, but this, look at this beach, isn't it incredible? Absolutely amazing. Not many people about either. The sun is still out, clouds are still behind us, and what an amazing place to be. Having a lovely day so far.
We strolled up the beach and back again and couldn't resist a scrawl in the soft damp sand.
Then back in the car, and we drove the few miles down to Carrick-a-Rede. We parked up, showed our tickets at the booth, and followed the long cliff path to the bridge. And this path opens up more amazing coastal views, including across to Rathlin Island and Scotland also.
The seas in this bay were an incredible turquoise blue, with chalky sands eroded from the cliffs helped to give these shallow seas this hue.
It's a good 15 to 20 minute walk from the car park to the bridge, and there are some steep steps to descend too, and we eventually arrived at a viewpoint where we could see the rope bridge below, and we observed birds nesting in the cliff face also.
Time to queue and again show our tickets before descending down to the wobbly rope bridge, which spans the 20 metres gap across to the headland and is 30 metres high above the crashing waves and jagged rocks below.
Nettie's vertigo will be put to the test here, definitely, but not for the first time this holiday. She was a real trooper and confidently faced her fear and edged across the bridge. Looking back, you realise this bridge is quite something.
Once across, we walked out onto the headland and looked in awe at the fishermen's cottages on the rocks below. It's incredible to think that the local community crossed a far more precarious rope bridge to land their catch for hundreds of years.
We walked right out onto the headland, sat on the grass and admired the views.
So we made it. We got you across the Carrick-a-Rede rope bridge. How was it?
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. Towards the end it got a bit shaky, so I was a bit like ooh, but actually the bridge itself was fine. It's going up this little bit up here, which wasn't so fine.
Yeah, because you're not good with heights, are you, generally?
Not if I don't feel safe. And
you don't like drops, do you?
No, the bridge wasn't too bad because it was like I had something to hold on, I could go across. So that wasn't too bad. Only the shaky bit, like I said. But this bit here, there was
cliff paths you don't like.
Yeah, no, because there wasn't anything to sort of hang on, and it was a bit craggy.
As you can see, lots of people here. It's a very busy attraction.
Yeah.
They must be making a fortune what they charge to get in. But it's beautiful views, great coast, isn't it?
It's absolutely gorgeous. Lots of seabirds and everything. Really interesting. I'm enjoying watching the seabirds, sitting on the rocks, nesting and things like that, or out in the sea. Yeah, really interesting.
Any rate, right, so we're going to sit here for a few minutes, enjoy the views. There's some fantastic views across to Scotland.
Yeah.
You can see the Mullican Tye, you can see the Isle of Jura, you can see the Isle of Islay, you can see actually Elsa Craig over there.
I know.
And we're going to sit here for a few minutes and then we'll make our way back, because back at the car park is ice cream.
Gelato.
And we sat here and admired the view for quite some time. So the thing is that if you cross the wobbly rope bridge, you have to go back, and that's never easy for someone with vertigo, and Nettie deserved her Mr. Whippy ice cream when we got back to the car park.
What you got there?
Ice cream.
Oh, why is that?
A gelato a day keeps the doctor away.
Delicious in a melty, run down your arm kind of way.
Back in the car, we drove back towards Portrush and pulled up at Dunluce Castle to admire the view.
We debated whether to pay the £9 each to go in, but decided that would be our backup plan for tomorrow.
We drove into the busy Portrush. You'd think there was some kind of prestigious golf tournament on. There was. Not much point trying to park up then.
So we drove through the town and on to Port Stewart, which was also busy with strange folk dressed as cowboys on horses. The Guinness must be good here.
It was late in the afternoon now, and we decided to check into our hotel, which was the Ibis in Coleraine. Once settled, we walked to a nearby burger restaurant called Hullabaloo for a meal, and then returned to our hotel bar for a couple of Guinness whilst watching the Women's Euros football tournament before chilling in our room.
It was day 8 of this trip, and sunshine of the past 2 days had definitely had enough of us, with the grey gloomy skies returning. We drove out from the hotel to a spot that draws fans from Games of Thrones from all across the world.
So we were heading to the now infamous Dark Hedges, where Arya Stark, disguised as a boy, climbs aboard a cart and travels to the north along the King's Road.
But in reality, it is a fairly old avenue of beech trees planted by James Stewart in the 1700s to create a dramatic entrance to his Grace Hill house, a feature that was popular at the time.
Well, we're out today and we're in Northern Ireland, so we can't come to Northern Ireland and not do some Game of Thrones stuff.
No.
So we have driven down to the Dark Hedges, the famous avenue of beech trees that's showcased in the series that's so popular, and it is a popular place. There's coaches here, there's a car park, and the Hedges Hotel, is that what it's called?
It is, yes, and the one good thing is the car park is only £5.
Cheapest car park we've found so far of all of these. So £5 to park. It's a pretty big car park. It's in the grounds of the hotel, and in the hotel there's like gift shops and cafes, and you can book a studio tour if that's what you want to do. Which is quite nice. It's in the grounds of a country house as well.
Very pretty.
It's very pretty. We'll just spin you around and show you the country house, shall we? Here it is. We're just coming up to it now by the looks of it. Here we go. Country house back there. It's not Father Ted's house, it's a country house. Maybe I'll get to do that on my next trip to Ireland. So we're just going to go down to the famous trees and see what all the fuss is about.
We strolled from the car park through the grounds of the house and out onto the public road. And yes, this is a public road. There are signs discouraging traffic from driving down it, but not everybody follows that guidance, which is a shame.
So here we are at the Dark Hedges, and although there's a few people about and there's been a coach and all that, actually this right now is quite quiet, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it's not too bad.
The road is closed off and you're not supposed to drive down it, although we've just had a gentleman come down here.
They've completely ignored the sign.
Yeah, completely, that's obviously an issue here, isn't it? But there you go. Yeah, okay, it's an avenue of trees. What can we say? It reminds us, we're both from Dorset, so it reminds us of the avenue of trees down
Badbury Rings, isn't it? Yeah.
Very, very similar.
Yeah.
Except there's no sort of like Iron Age hill fort off to one side.
Here, and there you don't have to pay loads of money.
And you have to pay loads of money. No, but very pretty, very beautiful. Game of Thrones, tick, tick. Done. All right, okay. We'll have a little mooch up there just to see if there's anything a bit more exciting further up there, but if not, we'll go back to the car and move on.
And there are normally quite a few groups walking down the lane, and we noticed some of the trees are being felled following a storm, apparently for public safety reasons. And as we got further down the lane, it began to look more and more like the scene from the show, and it also got quieter.
There's a spot at the head of the lane where people pose for selfies, and it does capture the avenue in a dark and brooding way, similar to the scene in the show. A kind Canadian couple kindly took our selfies. Thanks, guys. We then walked back to the house and went into the cafe where we enjoyed coffee and a tasty sausage roll.
Nettie found a swing nearby and couldn't resist, but we eventually persuaded her to get off it and we headed out to explore some more.
And as we were firmly in the realms of fantasy, Si told me that he was taking me to one of Northern Ireland's most mysterious places, and we drove up into the Glens of Antrim. This was a spectacular drive, even in the pouring rain. We parked up at Loughareema and peered down into what appeared to be a big muddy hole in the ground. So Si, why have you brought us here again?
So we've taken a drive up into the Glens of Antrim, area of outstanding natural beauty, and it is a bit rainy and a bit foggy in places, so there's not that much to see, but we were told that this place was worth a stop. It's called Vanishing Lake, or Loughareema, and if I've pronounced that wrong, apologies, but it is a bit of an enigma. It is a lake, although it doesn't look like one now, because this lake empties and fills up every day apparently, and there's a bit of a geological phenomenon going on here. I think that there in the background there is a sinkhole, and the water that flows in from all these streams and lakes fills this up and it forms like a lake, and then at some point it's like somebody pulls the plug on the bath and the lake empties again, and then it slowly fills up again and then it empties again, and apparently it does this daily apparently. I've even stopped and spoke to a gentleman doing roadworks up the road who said, yeah, it's empty now, it'll be full later on this afternoon, he said. So obviously we've timed it wrong to see it full, but what we can see is actually what's going on underneath the surface there, and it does, as I say, look like there's a sinkhole there. Real strange phenomenon, but full of myths and legends as well. And apparently this area is supposed to be haunted as well, and a coach and horses are supposed to have got stuck in there, and people have drowned and died in there, and all sorts of things. There's loads of lore and legend around this place, but it is quite a phenomenon. Anyway, I think just what it is definitely worth a visit. And maybe if we come back over here later on, maybe we'll see it full.
So we stayed here a while, trying to determine if it was filling up. Si managed to fly the drone over towards the missing lake, and we got some shots of us with mud behind us.
And the skies, which were grey, dull and wet, suddenly turned blue. This was a great spot, and the whole phenomenon of this lake filling and emptying really twisted our melons and got us thinking about how weird nature can be. Back in the car, we drove further into the Glens of Antrim, and this was excellent driving through stunning scenery, and Nettie again practiced her techniques for capturing footage from the car.
Eventually we came to the pretty coastal village of Cushenden, and this really is a pretty spot, with views across to the Mull and Kintyre in Scotland.
And this place was for hundreds, maybe thousands of years, the main departure and arrival point for those journeying between Ireland and Scotland. And the modest little harbour today is a sleepy but beautiful spot, and there's also a quaint village pub filled with brilliant Guinness memorabilia.
So this was a great spot to enjoy a Guinness and a Guinness Zero with some tasty fish and chips.
We wandered around this pretty village and admired the views across the Irish Sea, but rain drove us back into the car and we drove again up into the mountains.
The rain was driving and the visibility deteriorated. An incident on a country road saw Si have to check the car for damage. Luckily, we had narrowly avoided doing some nasty damage to the car when we were forced off the road by an oncoming vehicle, but Si got well and truly soaked in the process.
The rain was really heavy and it wasn't easing, so we decided to drive back to Coleraine, and we grabbed some more snacks in the local Sainsbury's.
Another cheeky Guinness in the evening and an early night beckoned. We were loving our road trip, but the driving was tiring for Si.
We chilled in our room, catching up on YouTube adventures with the brilliant Postcard and Pint. Great evening entertainment when you're drying out.
So how have you enjoyed your time on the Causeway Coast, guys?
Morning then.
Morning.
Okay, so we're just leaving our hotel in Coleraine, the Ibis, which was functional, I think is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
So it's been nice here. We were lucky with the weather with the Causeway.
We were very lucky.
And then normal Irish weather resumed yesterday, didn't it?
It did.
But we still enjoyed it round here. The Causeway Coast is beautiful, isn't it?
It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
And the Carrick-a-Rede Bridge, we had some great weather. I think you'd need to do that in good weather, wouldn't you? That would be a
That
bit...
could be quite dangerous, I'd imagine, in bad weather.
Yeah. But we're going to head down to Belfast now. We've got a one night in Belfast tonight. We might take a bit more of the Causeway Coast route on the way down just to see some more of the stunning scenery, although it is raining again.
Yeah, we were thinking about going back to the Disappearing Lake to see whether it's risen.
Yeah, we might do that on the way back round.
Yeah.
Go back to the Vanishing Lake to see if it's still vanished or whether
That's it, Vanishing Lake.
Yeah, see whether it's filled up. But one more day here in Ireland, then we head over the ferry into Scotland tomorrow. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is tomorrow.
Yeah,
It is
tomorrow, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, stick with us.
All
We're
right.
coming towards the end of our Irish road trip, but we've had a really great time. So thanks for sticking with us if you got this far.
Our final day in Ireland had arrived and we were determined to make this a day of fun, and what better place to do exactly that than in the wonderful city of Belfast.
The weather was still very Irish, but was never going to dampen today's spirits as we set out from Coleraine towards Belfast, taking the very convoluted route along the Causeway Coast.
But this did take us up past Vanishing Lake again, and we had to stop to see if it was full or empty. So it was still a muddy hole, but the sinkhole was definitely more full than yesterday.
This scenery on this route is stunning, even in the pouring rain. What a route! And we drove along spectacular coastal roads, admiring the scenery and views across to Scotland. So many pretty towns too, and opportunities to stop, but we had a date with Belfast and pushed on towards the city.
We passed through Carrick-a-Rede and had a severe temptation to stop and explore the beautiful castle, but it was nearing opening time. Did I say opening time? I meant lunchtime, of course. The two famous dock cranes in Belfast shipyard came into view. Named Samson and Goliath, these are stark reminders of this city's industrial and maritime heritage, and of course its links to the ill-fated Titanic are famed all around the world and draws visitors to the city and the Titanic Quarter and the Titanic experience. And we had debated whether to visit this on the drive down, but this wasn't the cheerful happy end to our island trip that we wanted, and as we checked into our city centre hotel we agreed that today was going to be a day to soak up the city vibe and try out some of Belfast's legendary pubs.
Well, we've landed at a rather rainy and stormy Belfast. Let's just keep it dry. And it's our final day in Ireland. We're getting the ferry back to Scotland tomorrow, or across to Scotland. So today, not too much planned. We've been to Belfast a few times. I think it's just a day in the city, soaking up the vibe, a few bars, a bit of shopping, good meal, and enjoy a bit of Irish hospitality as our final farewell. Anyway, stick with us, let's see how many pubs and things we can find on this afternoon here in rainy Belfast.
Dressed for the weather, we wandered into the city centre, along the riverside and past Thanksgiving Square. A mooch around the shops while Si found a website with recommendations for a Belfast pub crawl, and our first stop was the Morning Star.
This classic Belfast bar has been here since 1810 and remains a loved family-owned city centre pub and restaurant. With a classical Victorian style interior, it oozes charm and history and was a survivor of the Belfast Blitz in 1941.
And this was also our first pint of Beamish on this trip.
Oh, found some Beamish at last. Going all the way around Ireland and not found anywhere that says Beamish until we got here. This is the Morning Star in Belfast. And it's a great pint. It's a bit sweeter than Guinness and Murphy's. Also very, very, very smooth. Definitely a 5 out of 5 when it comes to stouts.
And it was a nice change from Guinness and Murphy's, and they also serve Big Fish Stout too, so you can do more than the main 3 stouts in this bar.
Okay, time to explore more, and Belfast street art is something to behold, and the city is a delight to explore. A cheeky KFC to stave off the hunger pangs, and where next?
And look at this place, a grotto to Our Lady of Lourdes, and the Our Lady of Lourdes shrine in Belfast is a grotto within the grounds of St Mary's Roman Catholic Church on Chapel Lane. Established in 1954, commemorating the church's role in sheltering evacuees from the 1956 Hungarian uprising. It's a tranquil spot for sure.
Come on, Si, more pubs to find, and next on our list was the legendary music bar Madden's. Quaint, cosy, but a place with a reputation for being one of the most popular music venues in the city.
What are you drinking now, Nettie?
Right, we're in the Madden's bar, and it's one that's on a list to try out. And I've gone for Kilkenny, which is a real ale, and it's an Irish real ale, and it's brewed in the Guinness brewery. So I'm going to give this a try. It's very smooth. It's sweeter than a Guinness, but it's got the Guinness froth on the top. I really like this one. Out 5, 4.5.
And the poster in the ladies certainly made you chuckle in any case.
Okay, where next? Look at those bees. They are so pretty, and I hear music from that bar over there.
And that bar over there was the legendary Kelly's Cellars, and this was one of Belfast's oldest bars, established in 1720, and music greeted us as we entered. We found a spot and enjoyed a Smithwick's and listened to the brilliant musician who was serenading all present with a mix of traditional and modern tunes. This place was buzzing, and we stayed here a while to enjoy the brilliant atmosphere within.
So where next? Rain once again appeared as we wandered into the Cathedral quarter, and we needed a proper meal to line our stomachs. And as so often happens, plenty of beer led us to a curry house.
And Mumbai 27 proved to be a great choice, with a very tasty meal served up in a great setting, washed down with more tasty beer of course.
A great curry this, and we woofed it down. This was a brilliant day already, and we wondered whether even more fun awaited.
Okay, more pubs to check out, and the Duke of York was our next stop, and this popular Belfast bar is quite something and has become a Belfast institution since it was rebuilt following a bombing during the Troubles in the 1970s. And what a place this is, and it just oozes life and fun, and it is a great night out. Aesthetically it's stunning inside, and it's another great music venue too. Who needs Oasis tickets when you're in Belfast? This place made us want to stay, so we did, and there were more great beers to try, so we did.
What a bar, and it's definitely on our world's greatest bars list after this night.
Time for one more, Nettie. There is one more pub on the pub crawl list.
Okay, where's that, Si?
It's this place called White's Bar, and this was another fabulous bar filled with great music and great beer.
Feeling slightly pickled now, and as we were travelling to Scotland in the morning, we decided to avoid Belfast beer's oblivion and retired to our hotel. And in the morning, we didn't half need that fried breakfast, really good. And after breakfast, we set off towards the port of Larne and waited to board our ferry to Scotland.
Well, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, we're back in the car. We're about to leave Ireland. We're at Larne Ferry Port. We're doing the Larne Cairn ferry, so we're heading to Scotland, which will be our last stop on this bit of a road trip we've done.
Yeah.
So that will mean we'd left England, driven through Wales, driven through the Republic of Ireland, driven through Northern Ireland, and then through Scotland. So that's it all ticked off.
We've had a great time, haven't we?
Well, it was really good, and our final sort of night in Ireland yesterday in Belfast was a real hoot, wasn't it? You know,
It was, yeah. We did loads of. We went on as a bit of a pub crawl, didn't we?
had to be done.
And it was brilliant because there was lots of like live music in the pubs, and they're really cool. The Irish pubs, aren't they?
Yeah, we tried to find more
Yeah.
traditional pubs, didn't we,
We
rather
did,
than sort of the modern sort of gastro pubs and stuff. But and there's, I mean, Belfast has plenty of soul and spirit, doesn't it? And
The people are really friendly as well.
yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
great. Ireland has been brilliant. I really enjoyed it. And say Scotland next. So
Yeah.
stick with us just a little bit longer as we go to our favourite place in Scotland. On Dumfries and Galloway. We're going to go to our favourite spot, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to go to the Isle of Whithorn, aren't we?
We are.
Yeah, our favourite.
Okay, stay tuned.
Bye.
We boarded the ferry, parked up, and this was a smaller ferry than the one from Holyhead to Dublin, but the crossing is an hour shorter. We found a spot in the cafe and bought a drink.
We spent time on deck watching the ferries to and fro between Scotland and Ireland and enjoyed the views across Mullintyre and Ailsa Craig.
It was a smooth and pleasant crossing, and we soon found ourselves in Cairn. We disembarked and set off through the pretty countryside of Dumfries and Galloway. These were roads we knew well, having holidayed here many times with our children and friends. We drove down the shores of Luce Bay, through Port William and on towards the Isle of Whithorn with its pretty harbour.
We parked up and it was time for a spot of lunch in the brilliant St Ninian's Tea Room. Manned by volunteers, this is a community facility and serves up tasty lunch and sausage rolls. Yum!
Then a very important task, and Nettie placed a painted stone on the memorial cairn located by St Ninian's Chapel. A difficult moment, but definitely needed.
A time to remember a truly great man and wonderful father. Miss you, Dad.
After reflecting for a while, we explored this rugged headland for another time. We've done it so many times before, but we never tire of this place. The ruined chapel of St Ninian is a striking landmark here and marks the starting spot for a pilgrimage trail going back 1500 years or so. And St Ninian is credited for converting the southern Picts in Scotland to Christianity in the 5th century, and is one of the first Christian saints to bring Christianity to Scotland and mainland Britain.
The chapel itself dates from the 12th century and is a small but pleasant ruin in a truly serene setting, and we used a drone to try and capture this. It is a wonderful place. We've always loved it here.
And then we walked out onto the headland itself with its iconic white tower and lighthouse, and from here there are great views out into the Irish Sea and onto the Isle of Man and back across the village and harbour also.
So here we are, we're on the Isle of Whithorn, and this road trip is kind of ending a bit like it started, at a monastic sort of ruin. Yeah, except this one isn't to St Kevin, this is to St Ninian, who was a local saint here that established a monastery here up at Whithorn, and this became a place of pilgrimage. It's a hell of a spot, isn't it, here?
It's absolutely gorgeous. I've actually put a stone on for my dad today on the cairn that they've got just in front of the St Ninian's Church.
It's still a special place,
Yeah.
this, and people come here, still make pilgrimages here, and there is a cairn where you can remember lost loved ones, and obviously we wanted to do that for Keith.
Yeah.
You know, bless him, absolute legend.
He would have loved this spot. He'd have absolutely loved it, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
He would. But it's a stunning place. It is probably our favourite spot in Scotland. In fact, not in the whole of the UK, with possibly one exception, and we might go there later on. But yeah, it's a real spot. Isle of Whithorn, if you've not been here,
Oh, definitely come.
come.
Yeah.
Come. It's a really, really special place. We'll show you around.
We walked back into the village and walked along the harbour side. So pretty and never busy. It's one of the UK's best kept secrets. If you've been there, you know exactly why we feel this way.
So that other special place we mentioned, well, that's where we headed next. We parked up at the St Ninian's Cave car park. This 20-minute walk down the valley through woods is a beautiful walk in nature with nobody around. Peace and tranquility with only the sounds of a babbling stream to break the silence as we walk down towards the coast.
The path merges onto a wide stony beach, and this entrance to this isolated beach is quite special. As at the Isle of Whithorn, this beach offers more tremendous views across to the Isle of Man.
Looking westward along the beach, you can see it ends in a cliff, and in this cliff is a cave, St Ninian's Cave, and this cave was said to be a hermitage for the great saint himself. Now much shallower than in years past, this small cave once contained carved stone crosses, now in the Whithorn Museum, and it is the finish point for the pilgrimage starting back at the Isle of Whithorn, nearly 5 miles away.
We walked this stony beach towards the cave, and once there used the drone to capture the beauty of the cave and its setting. No wonder St Ninian wanted to come here and reflect. The sound of the sea is such a wonderful soundtrack to think and contemplate life's meaning. We sat and did just that, well, after playing around with the drone in any case.
So we are at St Ninian's Cave, which is just along the coast from the Isle of Whithorn. It's about 5 miles down the coast, and you access this down a sort of a valley, which is really, really pretty. It's about a mile's walk from the car park at the top of the valley. You come down to this very pebbly and stony beach, which is beautiful. And at the end is this little cave up here. There's not as much there as there used to be. They've had some issues with rock falls. In fact, there's a little sign down there saying they're having to do some rock scaling work at times. But this place is a spot, and there are some amazing views out to the Isle of Man over there. Almost looks as though you could swim there, but obviously it's further away than you think. And we haven't been here since COVID, and it's a really, really special place. You can just sit here on the rocks, as St Ninian did all those centuries ago, just looking out and just wondering and contemplating the world. And it does have a real atmosphere and a real vibe to this place. In the cave itself, there isn't that much to see, sadly, these days. In years gone by, there's been sort of little offerings in there and crucifixes and things and cluties and things like that. And there were also crosses down the beach here as well, you know, where people have done the pilgrimage over from Whithorn to the cave here. Film buffs may also recognise this from the Wicker Man movie, and occasionally you did get a few people coming down to see this place as it was featured in the Wicker Man. And the Wicker Man end scene with the sort of the burning sort of Wicker Man and the people in the Wicker Man was actually filmed in Burgh Head, which is about 2 miles that way down there. So they filmed that movie in this location, which is why this attracts sort of visitors for Wicker Man buffs, if you like. But it is fundamentally a Christian place, and it's called St Ninian's Cave. And if you're in this area, Dumfries and Galloway, we would definitely recommend you taking time out of your itinerary, coming down here and just sit and just think and wonder.
We will never tire of coming here. It's such a spot, and we whiled away a good hour just chatting and reflecting on our experiences on this road trip, and agreed this was a perfect ending.
We walked back to the car and made our way to our accommodation for the evening, which was the Harbour Inn in the pretty nearby village of Garliston. And with our room overlooking the harbour, this felt like an ideal final stop on this trip. We enjoyed some really good food and wine in the restaurant. It was very tasty, and the homemade cheesecake for pudding was particularly delicious.
Garliston is a quiet, sleepy coastal village, and there is a small site for touring caravans and mobile homes bringing trade into the Harbour Inn. We walked around the village and out onto the beach. We strolled across the sands and once again enjoyed our base for the evening.
Well, here we are on the final night of our road trip, and we're in Scotland. We're in Garliston, which is in Dumfries and Galloway, and it's a really beautiful spot. Look at that.
It is gorgeous. Look at it.
Well,
spin it round.
Spin you round. You've got the Dumfries and Galloway hills and mountains behind us. You've got Wigtown Bay there. We've got Garliston Harbour here, and our hotel, which is kind of there-ish.
Sort of, yeah, there.
Yeah, there is the Harbour Inn, which is really nice. We've had a great meal, haven't we?
Oh, absolutely spot on.
Yeah, and one of the best meals of the trip so far.
It's delicious. They did like a homemade barbecue sauce, didn't they? It was lovely.
Really nice. Really nice.
And we had pudding.
We did have pudding for the first time
Homemade
this holiday.
cheesecake was delicious.
Absolutely lovely. And this harbour, it was famous for where they tested the Mulberry Harbour before the D-Day landings. So they went through 3 different prototypes before they came up with the actual design that was used on D-Day, and they were all tested in there, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So what a place this is.
Gorgeous.
And what an end we've had to our fantastic holiday round
Been amazing,
Ireland,
isn't it?
Northern Ireland, and now in Scotland.
We have seen so much.
It's been brilliant.
Yeah.
So our last night, we're going to just take a walk out round here, just soak up this really tranquil spot. And in the morning, we're heading back to Northamptonshire. And then what we'll do when we get home, we'll give you kind of like a bit of a summary and a sum up and talk about our highlights, our lowlights, and what was great, what wasn't so great. And so stick with us and join us for that.
We walked around the harbour wall and sat on another smaller stony beach, looking out into Wigtown Bay. Again, the gentle sounds of waves washing ashore soothed us. And this was a perfect spot for a bit of stone skimming, or sinking if you find that a more fun game.
Then a walk around the headland to another groin and viewpoint, which featured a lovely memorial bench too. And what a view it was too, across the bay and harbour, just lovely. And as we walked back to the harbour inn, the sun poked his head from behind the clouds and gave a beautiful view across the harbour before it disappeared again. As it did, a flock of birds flew over our heads just at that moment. Then a final beer in the bar before a great night's sleep.
And in the morning, our view across the harbour was the perfect way to wake up, closely followed by a great Scottish breakfast, of course. We packed the car for the final time and set off for our home back in Northamptonshire. We soon crossed the border to England and stopped at the brilliant T-Bay services for refreshments. We set off again, and the lush scenery of the Lake District was soon replaced by crowded motorways and urban sprawl. Once back in Northamptonshire, we did take a while to get ourselves organised to record our final verdict on this holiday.
Hello. So we're back here in sunny Northamptonshire, and it's a couple of weeks past since we got back from Ireland, but we thought we'd just reflect on whether we enjoyed ourselves and how great a holiday it was, because I thought it was pretty good, wasn't it?
It was amazing. I really enjoyed it.
And what did you think about doing a road trip for a change rather than our normal package holiday or cruise holidays?
I think it was really, it's nice to do something different. I really enjoyed it. We packed it in, didn't we?
I mean, when the kids were young, we used to do road trips all the time. We used to go down through Germany and France and all that. And it was nice to revisit that style of holiday.
It was, yeah.
The 2 days and move thing, did that kind of work for you?
I think it was just right because it was just the right amount of time. So if you found something that you really wanted to do, you could do that the next day. But you would, it worked quite well, don't you think?
I think it did. Yeah. If there were places that you think, oh, well, I've done it now, you could then say you've moved on. But there were some places I thought, oh, we wish we had more time here. So that's the trade-off.
Yeah.
But anyway, so on that, what was your favourite place of the places we visited?
Well, you know what I'm going to say, don't you?
Well, you always want to go to Giant Causeway.
Giant Causeway, yeah.
I mean, did it live up to the hype?
Oh, it was amazing. Well, you see on the video that I just absolutely loved it. I was in awe of it, wasn't I? So, I loved it.
Yeah, for me, I mean, Westport takes some beating, doesn't it? But I have a particular soft spot for Glendalough because of the family connection and everything there. But
you can't choose it all.
Can't choose
pick
it all.
One. So mine's the Giant Causeway.
Oh, I loved our day in Glendalough. We did the walk around. I did love that, even though you were obviously suffering in pain. I didn't like that bit, obviously.
Yeah,
but,
that's what you like there.
Yeah, honestly. Best hotel, would you say?
I would say Glendalough. Because of the view, and the breakfast was awesome.
Great breakfast there.
Yeah, it was.
I'd probably agree with you actually on that one. I think that was the best hotel. I mean, it wasn't plush or anything, but its setting, location, and the food was good, wasn't it?
It was good, yeah.
And also, on our next sort of question, best pint of Guinness. I think we both agreed on that.
Yeah. Glendalough.
Glendalough was the best pint.
It was.
It was the closest hotel to Dublin,
That pint of Guinness was so creamy, wasn't it? It was just so creamy.
Well, it's incredibly creamy, wasn't it?
We were really in need of a Guinness at that time anyway, weren't we? And it was lovely.
Best meal?
Well, you can say this one.
Well,
I agree with you on it.
Yeah, fish and chips in Holywood of all places.
Holywood.
What a great meal that was. Yeah. I mean, I'm a fish and chip fiend, and I love my fish and chips. But I've got to say,
you rate them, don't you?
I do. I have my own sort of like Google list of great chippies around the UK.
Shows how sad he is.
I know, really sad. But I've got to say that fish and chips in the Hollywood Inn in Wicklow was out of this world, wasn't it?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was. You don't eat the salad, but they did salad with it, and the dressing. I don't know what the dressing was, but it was something special. Really was.
It was, so we had a really good one. Do you reckon we'll do another one? Do we need to go back to Ireland, I think?
Well, we do need to go back because we didn't do Croagh Patrick, did we?
That's on my list.
We need to get fit. Easier said than
Easy
done.
Drink less Guinness.
Yeah. And we need to get back there. So we do need to go back for that. And, you know, we could go other places, explore other places.
I was really impressed with the mountains in County Mayo, and then we went down to Kildare Fjord, and that's the border with County Galway, and then you got Connemara Mountains to the south of that, and we got glimpses of that, and I thought, oh, that looks nice down there. So maybe if we do go back, we go to Mayo and then do Patrick, and maybe we go south rather than north. But then going north and then catching up with cousin Sarah was amazing.
That was
wasn't
good.
It?
Yeah, that was good. Enjoyed that.
It was really good.
Yeah.
And Derry was a fantastic city.
Yeah.
And you know, all that Causeway Coast, you can see why it draws the tourists there.
It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous.
Yes.
But there's plenty more to see.
And that's it. So another island road trip has to be done.
It does.
Well, look, thanks for joining us in this video series. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've got some inspiration to go to the beautiful Emerald Isle of Ireland.
Oh, gorgeous.
And, you know, join us on our next adventure, which isn't too far away now.
No. Is it about 8 weeks now?
8 weeks.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. If you enjoy what we do and want to see more of our adventures, please like and subscribe. And if you want to, comment below.